Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the South Cambridgeshire series, 103 parishes in a district that completely surrounds the city of Cambridge in Cambridgeshire. Let's get to it! Welcome back to South Cambridgeshire again, people. You find me to begin this episode inside the local church, and behind me you can see a board which has got these three likely lads on it. They are Robson Green, James Norton and Tom Brittany, and they starred in a TV series which was filmed in this village. This episode will definitely determine which of you are TV buffs. You might recognise what this series is, but even if you don't, I'm going to tell you anyway. They starred in Grantchester. This video is sponsored by Bassett Law Pro Clean, specialist floor and upholstery cleaners based in Retford, Nottinghamshire. Do you have a commercial space, own a restaurant, hotel or pub, maybe an office block? Bassett Law Pro Clean cover the entire country for commercial work. And they have a special offer. Quote the Village Idiot when you inquire and get a massive 7.5% off. Need it cleaned by the experts? Contact Bassett Law Pro Clean now. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. This is a fun one. Laid out along a bendy street to the southwest of Cambridge and close to the M11 is the pretty, affluent and famous village of Grantchester. There are many reasons for that, but the one most people will be familiar with would be from the TV show that put this place on the map in 2014. However, Grantchester has far more to talk about than just that. Known sometimes as Fort Granta or Cair Grauth, this village is said to have the world's highest concentration of Nobel Prize winners, most of them presumably being current or retired academics from the University of Cambridge. The village dates back to the time of Domesday, where it was recorded twice, once as Grantesete and once as Grauntsethe. It can go back a little further to AD 731 when it was mentioned in a book, Bede's Ecclesiastical History of the English People. The name suggests that this was occupied by the Romans too, thanks to the suffix chester, often used in names of forts or fortified cities throughout England. Historic landmarks and notable residents are plentiful here. Grantchester has links to the poets Rupert Brooke and Lord Byron, the former MP Geoffrey Archer, sculptor Helene Blumenfeld, and even David Gilmour from the band Pink Floyd. Grantchester even has 2 songs written about it. There's a lot to digest here, so let's walk and see if we can figure it all out. That might well be a challenge. We begin our walk at the southernmost point of the village overlooking the River Cam. The river plays a huge role in this episode. Just a little further upstream from this bridge is Byron's Pool, named after the poet Lord Byron, who it's believed used to swim there. This pool is a mill pond, but the watermill that once stood here burned down in a fire in 1928. This adjoining cottage is all that's left. Next is the Old Vicarage. Built in 1685, this is the home of Cambridge scientist Mary Archer and her husband, the former MP Geoffrey Archer. The house was also for a time lived in by the Edwardian poet Rupert Brooke, but he's more associated with the orchard. This is Orchard House, where Brooke also lived between 1909 and 1911 before moving next door to the vicarage. He wrote several works whilst living in the village and immortalised both houses in a poem entitled The Old Vicarage, Grantchester. The Orchard Tea Rooms adjoin the house. Since 1897, this has been a popular retreat for Cambridge students and teachers, as well as the locals. After walking around the tea rooms, we're heading for Grantchester Meadows next by passing over the local cricket field. Grantchester has a rich cricketing history, although early records are scarce. There was a well-established team here in the 1840s. We've reached the River Cam again, only this time we're going to follow it rather than cross it. Welcome to Grantchester Meadows. Grantchester Meadows is part of a broad green floodplain for the River Cam, and they featured in many contemporary works. So it's important to note that these paths that cross Grantchester Meadows are not public, they are permissive paths, because this entire area is owned by King's College, Cambridge, and you can walk along the bank of the River Cam all the way in to Cambridge city itself. I'm not going to go that far, obviously. I'm going to be turning left at some point up here to head into the rest of the village, because obviously if I went all the way to Cambridge, you wouldn't get an entire Grantchester episode, would you? So yeah, it's a lovely peaceful morning out here, and as you can see, the river is very calm. There's just a few bits of wildfowl about. No, not really many people, still quite misty. So we'll follow the cam for a while, and then, as I said, we'll turn left and we'll head across into the village properly. And after passing just one solitary person, the only other things I'm met with on this little walk would be cows. There's some livestock roaming around the meadows as well. They're enjoying the peacefulness, aren't they? The meadows feature in both a Sylvia Plath poem and a song by Pink Floyd. Fun fact, Floyd guitarist David Gilmour actually lives here. Running through them is a cycleway. It's nicknamed the Grantchester Grind, the title of a 1995 comic novel written by Tom Sharp. The Grind's original purpose was religious, created for the residents of Newnham as a direct walking route to the local church. Using the Grind, you can easily access the local pubs. Grantchester has 4 of them, and here's the first, the Blue Ball. A couple doors away, along Broadway, is an old Baptist chapel dating from 1876. In its time, this has also been an artist's studio. We're heading for the village centre. Broadway's row of terraces were built in the 19th century, which was a period of change for Grantchester. It was another Cambridgeshire village which relied on farming, and the Enclosure Act at that time created its current fields. Many new buildings were erected too, including the original National School. There was a new road constructed too, which led to Coton. The second pub is right on the Coton Road junction. This is the Rupert Brook, named after the poet who we met at the start. Alright, so after the Rupert Brook you come to what is probably Grantchester's main junction. It's where the High Street, Broadway and Coton Road all meet each other. And we're going to take a right turn down Coton Road, and effectively what we're going to do now is walk around a housing estate before coming back to this point in a few moments to head down that way towards the beginning. Onto Coton Road, the first thing we encounter is a bus stop. The village is served by the number 18 between Cambridge and St Neots. We're heading onto the Stulpfield estate, a very residential area where most of Grantchester's population reside. The only non-residential property on the estate is this dog grooming salon, which used to be a cost-cutter supermarket. At least one street on this estate is named after historical families. Nutters Close is named after the family who once ran the Watermill. Tabram Close, Crome Ditch Close and part of Stulpfield Road form a large area of sheltered housing, a total of 40 bungalows. They're managed by EAC Housing Care, who operate a total of 43 sheltered estates across 30 South Cambridgeshire villages. At the end of the estate is a small park. This is the only recreational facility in the village if you don't count the cricket pitch. Via Crome Ditch Close, we're now on a footpath which flanks the estate and brings us back to Coton Road once again. While we're on the subject of residents, as well as the Archers and Gilmore, American sculptor Helen Blumenfeld also lives here too. Okay, and we're back to where we were a few moments ago. We're going to make this quick because there's a car coming down this road. So now we're going to take a right turn and head back down towards the beginning. This will pass Grantchester's shop. I think there's another pub. There's definitely the church and a few other bits and bobs before we reach the River Cam again. The High Street has been the heart of the village for centuries. This house, named the Old Stores, used to be the village shop. The High Street has a high concentration of thatched properties, including a reading room attached to the village hall. This is the building in question, and this was the original 1830 National School. The village hall is behind it. In 1867, a larger school was needed, and this was built over the road. It's now a private house, and Grantchester currently has no school at all. The shop I mentioned is actually Cambridge Distillery, a gin store who supply the very best venues around Cambridge and beyond. On the subject of alcohol, the two remaining pubs of the four are right next to each other. First, we have the Red Lion. Bang next door is the Green Man, a 400-year-old pub whose chef patron is the renowned author, TV and radio presenter Barry Vera. Having four pubs in a village this small is rare. One of them is involved in a local tradition, which dates back to the 1960s. Every year on Boxing Day, Grantchester holds an inter-village barrel race, which ends with a hog roast at the Rupert Brook pub. I don't think there can be any doubt really about Grantchester. You need some money to live here. You really do. Some of these properties are amazing. Probably worth seven-figure sums, I would say. The pubs, I would imagine they definitely are. So I've got one major landmark left, and it's right behind the camera. It's the church. And there it is on this bend as we head back down towards the River Cam. Let's check this out next. In the grounds of St Andrew and St Mary's Church is the War Memorial. Rupert Brook is one of the names listed upon this. On a wall nearby is a memorial to Roger James Booth, a 14-year-old boy from Dublin whose ashes are buried in this churchyard. Here also stands a monument to the Fellows of Corpus Christi College, topped by a pelican, a Christian symbol of self-sacrifice. The pelican feeding its young from its own blood is part of the college's coat of arms. Some of these names are now unfortunately illegible. Corpus Christi College has been a patron of this church since 1352. It's built of clunch and fieldstone, and its tower has 3 bells. The oldest parts of the church date from the 12th century. The chancel is mid-14th, as is the tower, and the porch is 16th century. It was open, so let's have a little wander around inside. Since 2014, this church has been used for filming a TV drama series. Here's the chancel and the magnificent east window. The upper part of this includes an unusual butterfly design. There are several stained glass windows in here which mainly date from the 19th century. The organ was built in 1851. The church's font is believed to be Norman, and the 17th century pulpit probably came from Corpus Christi's College Chapel. And here we are, of course, back to where I began this episode, with the board with these 3 fellas on it. There you go. There's a bit of information about the TV series below. Not much, to be fair, just basically 1 paragraph. But I can help out with that because I can tell you a bit more about the Grantchester TV series in today's special section, which is coming your way right now. Grantchester is a detective drama series set in the 1950s in the village itself. It's been running since 2014 and has so far had 51 episodes across 8 series. There will be a 9th series too, as it was announced back in July of this year. The show is based on the Grantchester Mysteries, collections of short stories written by James Runcie, with the first series being based on the 6 stories from the first book, named Sydney Chambers and the Shadow of Death. James Norton plays Sydney Chambers himself, an Anglican vicar who develops a sideline in sleuthing along with his successor William Davenport, played by Tom Brittney. Detective Inspector Geordie Keating is played by Robson Green, and between them, the three forge an unlikely partnership in solving crimes. Grantchester itself is used for extensive filming, but a lot is also shot away from the village too, including in Lemsford, Hertfordshire, King's Parade in Cambridge, Chatham Dockyard in Kent, and Horsted Keynes Railway Station in West Sussex. Here's a fun thing to finish with. It seems the locals are quite used to filming in the village thanks to the TV show. As I was walking around, I was asked by one man if that's why I was recording. As much as it would be fun to work in television though, I'll stick to YouTube. That's been Grantchester, and I'll see you up the road for the next one. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.